Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a Goosebumps HorrorTown special, which is for the Please Do Not Feed the Vampires. This is a new video I'm trying on. This is, the long and short of it is that, as the name suggests, this is Crafting 101. A lot of town communities has suggested that they wanted to see more of this. Man, vampire dogs are barking outside right now. A lot of people in the community wanted to actually know what to do when it comes to this event, so I've actually wrote a bit of stuff down. I'm going to be showing you in this video roughly what you should be doing when it comes to within this event as a template. This is the first time I'm doing something like this. It's something I've always wanted to do, so we're going to take a look at this and see how well this goes, and hopefully this helps you guys out. So as you can see here, I've gotten some things going, but this is the vampire's altar. This is the main prize for the event. As you can probably see here, you need a vampire repellent, vampiric costume, small packet, and a vampiric kit. You need 9 of each of these. And when you're looking at this, you're probably overwhelmed thinking, what should I go ahead and do? Well, in my suggestion, this is what I need. This is what you should probably do. The first thing you need to do is, you see these vampire repellent? Go for this first. I'll explain why in a minute. The next thing, once you get all 9 of those, you usually just go over the vampiric kit here. Then, once you get that, then go for the costume and the packet. And the reason why is going to be shown in this little crafting area right here. This, let me just click this right here. You see I got some items going for it. And I believe, yeah, this helps for this quest line that you probably are seeing in the future. So, if you're watching this right now in the playlist, this means that the event is over. And if you're not, if it's not on my main channel as of yet, this is just mean this is happening during the quest. So, anyways. So this is the costume shop. This is where most of your limited time content crafting will be held. In this crafting shop, you have a few things you need to craft here. So the first thing is the vampiric potion. You'll need 2 of the blood flasks and 2 of the haunted essence. This will take about 25 minutes to craft, so it's a little bit long. The next thing on the list is a red dye. You'll need 3 of the blood flasks and 1 of the chemical Ys. I believe that's how you pronounce them. It takes about 10 minutes to craft. The next item, which is one of the important items in this quest, you'll see why, because 2 items we'll need to craft it from there, is the vampiric food. You'll need 3 canned roaches and 3 of the haunted essence. It takes 45 minutes to craft. The next item that we'll probably need is the vampiric makeup. There are 3 items this time you'll need in order to get this. You need 3 of the makeup kits, 2 of the red dyes, and 2 of the vampiric potions. It takes about an hour in order to get this done. Now, this is the first item I suggest you going for, because as you can see from these 2 here, they take the vampiric food up there. So you can see that it's going to be very useful because you'll need this for these items here. So, the vampiric repellent, and the only reason I'm saying this is because this is the first item that you can get off your shelf, because once this goes away, you no longer have to worry about it because you don't need the repellent for any of the items moving forward. However, for the vampire teeth, you need a lot of those, so it might as well get rid of this out of the way. So anyways, you'll need 3 of the vampiric food, 2 of the red dye, and 2 of the grocery bags. This takes about an hour and 15 minutes to craft, so there you go. The next thing on your list, once the vampiric is done, is to go after the vampiric teeth. Or the vampiric teeth. You need 2 of the vampiric food, 2 of the vampiric potions, and 1 of the vampiric makeup. This will take you about 1 hour and 30 minutes to craft. Moving next, we get the vampire cloak. In order to get this, you need 2 silk cloths, 2 sewing boxes, and 2 of the vampiric makeup. Takes about 2 hours to make. Then next after that is the vampiric costume. You need 3 of the silk cloths, 2 of the sewing boxes, and 1 of the vampire cloak. So this is why you'll need this in order to get down to the costume here. And last but not least, and this is why I talked about why you should go for the next one here, is because in order to get the vampire costume, you'll need 3 of these in order for the vampire kit. This is going to be the one that's going to be most challenging to craft, because you'll need 3 of the vampire costumes, which takes a while to get. But then you'll need 3 of the small package and 3 of the vampiric teeth. So this is why I suggest you going after the vampiric repellent first before going after the vampire teeth for the canned goods. So this, at the end of the day, is the costume shop. You're going to be using this a lot more. But now I'm going to be talking about exactly what you can do with these items. So before we do any of that, let me talk about the next thing here, which is this. This is the filming set. The filming set is actually our spawn, a limited time event spawn, that helps produce the small package that we need. Now, on the left before you, you see these, I'm guessing they're just like vampire chicks. They each cost 10%. So altogether you get 30. It's a very low count to get, and it really does suck. In order to use all these, you'll need to use 180 of the film reels. So, I'm not going to talk about the film reels in this part because that's going to be for my walkthrough. I'll be talking more about that. But needless to say, the film reels are going to be very hard to do, especially with how tight this event is for the limited time capacity. However, we have one of these characters available here, which is Yvonne. Now, Yvonne is a premium character, and thus she's free. She and Fifi both cost $450, or they can be available in a premium pack. At this moment, during this recording, Fifi did not have a pack yet, so I'm waiting until that comes around before going after her. I could buy her, but I want to see what exactly they're offering for the pack first. So anyways, if you go for her plus the vampires, you get 60%. Now, that's basically a coin flip. You're either going to get this pack on the first try or not. So if you have Fifi with you, it's a 90%, meaning that you are guaranteed to get the pack. Now, I've been kind of lucky in this case by managing to be able to get all these characters within 50% of the time. But if you're tight on this, you could, and if you have the cash in order to get both Fifi and I believe her name is Yvonne, you can use both these two together to get 60%, so you can not be able to use up your precious film reels and also get a chance to get the item. But for now, I'm going to use this as an example to see how likely it is for me to be able to get this item off from the get-go. It's very hard to see this going through properly, only because it's very hard to get these items in question. One of the interesting things you might have noticed about this event too, while she's doing this thing, and I'm going to be talking about this, one of the interesting things about this event is the fact that this is the first time in a while that we're actually using our normal items in order to be able to get these items in question. So it's very useful for us to be able to do all this stuff in the sense of I'm just trying to talk here while she's doing her thing scaring people. But it is interesting that how they're trying to do this by using items that we usually already have, thus making characters, although not dropping the event currency, making them useful during this event. So she's done with her tasks, and I'm not sure if I'm lucky enough. I don't think I got it. No, I did not. So you can see how crappy it is when it comes to 30%. And it takes about 30 minutes, or not 30 minutes, it takes 3 hours in order to do the cooldown. So you can either do that, or you can spend $19 of the Goosebucks in order to move on faster. I don't suggest you using that because it's hard to kind of grind through the Goosebucks even when you do the daily watch every so often. So that's something to use. So before we talk about characters and items that are needed in order to get through this event, I'm going to talk about one thing that you're probably going to need. And that's this right here. The Monster Diner. You'll need one of these items in order to move on, and that is the canned roaches. If you do not have a premium character that can drop these, or you don't have a character that can drop these, and I'm going to show you characters that can drop these, so don't worry. But for any reasons you can't do that, you have to get it through the Monster Diner. In order to get it, you need one of the tin can roaches, or one of the tin cans, and 2 of the cockroaches. And this will take you about 2 minutes to craft. So I'm going to put that there just for now, so you get a good gist. So for what we're going to do now is I'm going to talk about characters that will be needed, and these are characters that can be made available during this quest. So I'm going to go through the first characters you can get, and I'm going to be talking about the first ones, the important characters. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is Marty over here. Marty is probably your first character you're going to get during this part before the event starts, because you need to be level 10, so you most likely will get Marty. Marty drops you a few items. One of them is the groceries bags for 13 minutes. And also he drops the chemical Y for 10 minutes. However, if you're like me, I suggest you not do any of those. Instead, have him do Run Like a Vampire, which drops the Haunted Essence. Because not only will this drop you, like this will do it for 10 minutes, but not only will this help you with getting some of the film reels, but it also will help you getting the items in question for the event. The next character we're going to talk about is Brooke. Now, Brooke, I'm not 100% sure if she'll be made available later on, because she is part of the Blob That Ate Everyone quest line. But you'll probably be able to get her before the quest, if this is just talking if you're starting this off at level 10, so it's possible to get her. Now, she drops 2 items, which is the Chemical Y for 24 minutes, but she also drops the sewing box, but you'll need the Hashadashery, and this will take 3 hours to do. Now, likelihood, you're not going to be able to do any of those, so you have 2 of these quests that she can do. Both of them are 10 minutes. Either she could do a blood flask, or she can dance. Now, for me, I'm going to have her dance. And the reason why is because you'll find out, and I'm going to go back here for a real quick second, and this is a premium player's playthrough, so this may not work for you. But, as you can see, the blood flask are only used for the vampiric potion and the red dye. It doesn't need for anything else. So really, if you have characters that can drop you the vampiric potion and the red dye, you really don't need the blood flasks at all. And this also means that you don't need anyone doing Chemical Y if you have characters that can drop you a red dye or an item that can drop you a red dye. Items you will need, though, will be the canned roaches for sure. You'll probably need the makeup kits and the groceries. Oh, and then also the sewing boxes. So these items are important, but the Chemical Y and the flasks are not really required if you do spend a bit of cash in this game. So the next character on our list is Ricky. Ricky is going to be a little bit harder to get because he's a little bit more higher level. He is a freemium, so you can still get him for cash, but he's part of the Calling Off Creeps questline. Now, he's only useful for this event, so he does not drop any of the normal items that is needed for this questline, but he has 2 quests. One of them is for 10 minutes that drops the Haunted Essence, and the other one is the Silk Cloth for 30 minutes. Now, either way, you can do either or. Honestly, I'd suggest if you're around and you can do stuff, I ask you probably to go for 10 minutes for the Haunted Essence because it does drop you more film reels than waiting for 30 minutes for the Silk Cloth. But if you need the Silk Cloths in order to get the costumes, I would suggest you going for the cloth. But you won't need to because I have one character doing that already, so I'm going to have him do that. And the last freemium character that can help us do anything is Mrs. Marr. Mrs. Marr is a character you'll probably get already, and she's very useful for this event, actually. Because not only does she give us a makeup kit for 11 minutes, but she also is one of the characters that can give us canned roaches for 9 minutes without having to grind for roaches in tin cans. She can also drop up some groceries for 13 minutes, and she can give us Chemical Y for 24 minutes. But as you can see, I suggest you not do any of that because she also drops 2 items needed for this event. One of them is the Blood Flask for 10 minutes, and the other one is the Silk Cloths for 30 minutes. Now, as I suggested before, the Blood Flasks are completely useless for me, so the obvious choice is to have her do the Relaxing Dewy Needlework for 30 minutes. And she's going to help me with that over here. So that's good to know. Now, the next characters I'm going to be talking about are characters that will not drop you any of the film reels, but they can be useful for this event when it comes to the items needed. So the first character we're going to be looking for is Dustin here. Now, Dustin is useful for 2 things. He can either drop you a tin can for 2 minutes, and this is only for if you don't have any characters that can produce you canned goods. And she also helps you with the grocery bags by, giving you them for 13 minutes, so there's that. The next freemium character, okay, might as well because she's close by, is the Police. She can drop you a Chemical Y. As I suggested before, it's not really required, but if you have her, or if you have them, that's great. But you don't need them, if that makes sense. So, there you go. There's, this again, I'm just showing you characters that can be useful for this event. And it does suck that I don't have ways that I can just quickly just go to these characters, but, it's what it is. This video is more of a simple kind of talk to people. Hopefully will help people out. See if we can't find another character here. Okay, here's our next guy. The next useful character is Mortman. He has a few things he can help you get. First one is for the canned roaches. He can help give you some cockroaches for a minute, as well as the tin can for 2. But he can also give you some groceries for 13 minutes, and I believe He also gives you Chemical Y for 24 minutes, so there's that character that can help you with some of the items there. For that. The next useful character that is a freemium is the mayor. The mayor can help you drop the makeup kits for doing shopping for 11 minutes. So there's that. The next guy is the firefighter. He helps dropping the Chemical Y for 24 minutes. So there's another option there. Not really needed, but it's an option nevertheless. Megan is a character that is a little bit more longer to get, but if you do have her, she is very useful for a few reasons. Namely, just the one reason, and that is that she's able to drop the sewing boxes for 3 hours by rehearsing choreographs. So we're going to have her do this for a while. You're going to have her do that for a little while, running around like that. So keep that in mind. The next character on the list is Jordan. The only thing he can drop you is the Chemical Y, so there's another character going to do that for you. So there's, you know, someone who's useful. And last but not least, the character that's useful in this part is Mrs. Dark. 1 second. Hey, I'm just in the middle of something. I'll be back now. The last premium character is Mrs. Dark. She can help you drop some roaches. Can help you with the makeup kit here for 11 minutes. And she can help with groceries for 13. I would recommend her doing, if you can do the canned roaches without, you can probably do her for the makeup or the grocery bags. But that's just me at the end of the day. The next thing I'm going to show you are suppliers that you can use during this event that is free. The first one, and these are the first two for the tin can stuff. The first one is the garbage dumpster, which gives you, every minute 30 seconds, gives you a cockroach. And the other one is the tin can, which is the waste container, which gives you it for every 2 minutes. The other two items that is needed for free is the grocery store, which drops you grocery bags every 26 minutes. And later on down the line is the haberdashery, which gives you, for every 6 hours, will give you one of the sewing kits. So if you have characters that can drop you this, I would recommend you going after that, because this is a little bit of a long wait to get it. But it's, there we go. Now, we're going to be talking about premium characters. These are characters that you can get for cash, and these are available all year round. So let's talk about the first very useful character, and he is one that we've got recently, and that is Mr. Wood. Mr. Wood, try to click him again. Mr. Wood is our new character. He's gotten some quests here, but if you have him, he's very useful because he helps us drops 2 of the items needed for this quest, or for this event. The one of them is the vampiric potion, and the other one is the red dye. This is where it gets very interesting, because if you have characters like these already, you won't need to have the craft the red dye or the vampiric potion, which is why I say the red flask is useless if you have one of these characters, or one of these 2 characters, which I'll talk more about later. So we're gonna have them just do this for now. I've been having these characters kind of go back and forth. You'll see what I mean in a bit. So let's talk about characters now that are premium that can help you during this event when it comes to dropping certain items. So, well, that's done there, so that's kind of cool. Let's find our first character here. Lucy. Now, Lucy is a premium character. She's the first character you get. However, she is in this premium list because she can drop you makeup, but you need And you need a certain place in order to get this. And this is a premium building, which I'm going to share with you in a bit. The next premium character you can get, talk to, or you can have with you, is Dr. Brewer. Dr. Brewer can help you with the chemical Y. So, not really needed, but he's there if you want him. You also have Sharon to help you out. She can help you with the makeup kit and the chemical Y. I would suggest maybe go for, if you have her, you can probably have her do the makeup kits because they seem more useful than anything else. Our mischievous ghost, Andrew Craw. He is useful for giving you makeup kits as well as giving you groceries. I'd say that if you have them, you can use them for one of these two. I would probably go for the makeup kits because they're a little bit more harder to come by than the groceries. You can get them every so often, so there's that. Next premium character is Clarissa. Clarissa can help you by giving you these sewing boxes for 3 hours, just like Megan. And she'll be just flying around in her broom, the classic witch as she is. Now, another character you can use during this event that is premium, I might as well go for him because I did spawn him first. If I can click him, no, not you. I guess I'll talk to you in a bit. Is Satyr. The only thing he's useful for is doing grocery bags, so not really the greatest, but it's there if you need him to. You can already see that Marty's already done with his quest, and it's already quick, so. One of the more useful characters is Theo. And the reason why is because he does one item that you need, and that's the makeup kit. And what's special with him is that he's the only character that can actually do this. It gives you 2 for 33 minutes, and just by being a clown. So if you have him, I would recommend you going and have him do this a lot. It will help you greatly. Now I'm trying to look for... Then you have Conrad. Conrad can only give you some groceries, so if you do have him around, you can have him go for grocery shopping. So there's that. That will help you out. Now, let's talk. That's probably all the premium characters that you have that can help you. Not a lot of them can actually do a whole lot of good stuff. I would say that if you have Clarissa and Theo, that those are probably your best bets. If you have all the other characters I mentioned, you can have them do those quests as well. That might help you out. So, there's that. So, as I mentioned before, the beauty shop. You'll need this. It's about 30 cash. But it'll help you drop the beauty stuff every 22 minutes. So if you have this around in your shop, or you got this during the Thanksgiving update, which I did before, this will help you out by having it drop the makeup stuff every so often, which is right here, type of stuff. So let's talk about the limited time stuff. So let's talk about our first few characters. The first one, which we had in the past, I'm not sure, there he is, Amazo. Now Amazo is good for a few things. He can give you a makeup kit for 11 minutes, but what's useful about him is that if you have him walk the invisible dog for 9 minutes and gives you a canned roach. So that's always great to see. Another character that's useful that we've recently got is Saber. Saber is one of the characters that you'll need that drops premium stuff. He's the only one who gives you the premium stuff. He also gives you no, he doesn't give me groceries. I thought he did. Anyways, He gives you the red dye, just like Mr. Wood, and then the vampiric potion. We're going to have him do the vampiric potion for now. So there's that. The other character is the new characters, which I believe I saw her at one point. We just had her around. See if I can't spot her by looking through here. There she is. Yvonne. Yvonne will have all the items you need to craft to be able here, but if you need to know useful items, you should probably do. There are two. One of them is using the umbrella for 1:30, and the other one is becoming a bat. Now, if you won't be able to come back for a while, I'd suggest you go for the becoming a bat because it helps with the vampire cloak. And once she's done her quest, you'll be able to be ready for another round of the film reel scare scene. But if you can come back an hour and a half away, I advise you to do the vampiric makeup every 2 minutes. It'll help you with getting all this stuff ready to go. So there's that. That'll help you there. The other character is Fifi, and she doesn't show you any items here. However, I am going to be doing a quest, but from what I see from other players, there's 2 items. She does the same thing as Yvonne. However, she drops 2 items. One of them is the cape, and the other one is the new one, which is vampire food. Basically, like Yvonne, if you are not going to be around for a while, go for the cape. But if you can be back every so often, I suggest you go for the canned foods, because the canned food is very useful and it is needed, so there's that. The other useful character in this event is Walter. Walter, like Saber, helps drop these 2 items here, but he can also give you some groceries for 13 minutes. But I would suggest you go after for these 2 things, because the vampiric potion and the red dye are going to be needed for a lot of stuff. So keep this in mind. Another useful character, which I can't believe I'm about to say this, is Mr. Fleshman, Mr. Meme himself. Mr. I need to always never saw anything good for him at all. This guy, if the game can load. This is so weird. He helps by picking up insects for 9 minutes. He gives you the canned roaches, so he'll be useful for me to just keep on doing that for a while. Now, there are 2 other characters that walked around here that is very useful if you have them, if you got them during the limited time. The Mazo and Mazo was from the Magic event that passed, as well as another character we're going to show off. The other 2 characters came from, one of them is a Halloween, the other one's the recent one that just passed. I'm sure if you're seeing this by now, you probably know where these characters came from my playthrough, so I'm not going to go too much into there. One character that we recently got that is useful, if I can click her, or it, is the magical assistant. She can help you by 24 minutes giving you chemical Y, which probably isn't needed, but she can do a hat trick for 11 to give you a makeup kit, which is useful, so you can have her do that. The last character that is useful for us to get, that can help us, is Claus. Claus, like the magical assistant, can give you chemical Y and makeup, so you can do what you will with that. That is that there. Now let's talk about some limited time items that you can get. Now this one is very rare for some players. You can only have gotten this if you played the game at the very beginning for the first Magic event. This is the dollar shop. Apparently it drops one of these things, but I'm not sure if it does or if it's just glitch, but I'm putting it in here just in case. But really, if you're going for the haberdashery, you can probably just get more of that there, but I recommend you probably getting characters to do that more than others that I showed off. But there's 2 items in particular that are the selling point. And oh no, I don't want to buy it. Heavens forbid. Here are the 2 items: the vampire coffin and the Jubuku. I believe that's what it's the scary tree. I'm just gonna call it the scary tree. It drops the red dye and the blood potion. Now, they are premium, unfortunately, So this one drops every 6 minutes, and the other one drops every 3 hours. These two items, in my opinion, are not worth it. Even this right here. Don't bother with this. You will need these items more so than you do with just giving it away for the items in question. So that's what I would say not to bother with. Hopefully, yeah, so don't bother with that. If you have the characters that I've seen before, like the 3 premium characters here, and do it every 20 minutes, you can definitely get the items required in order to get what you need. So, yeah. So I'd recommend you go for the vampire food, go for the vampire makeup every so often, and then when you can, get yourself going to have this here for the vampire stuff. So that's about it for this event. So hopefully this helps you out. Okay, so I forgot to mention this, but when it comes to the film reels, which is this event's currency, you'll see something like this is the grand prize, I guess, which is the ancient pavilion, which is 80,000 film reels, which is ridiculous to grab, especially how slow this is getting. And likelihood I'm not going to get it. I am going to try my best, but I am going to show off this item if not during the playthrough. But in order to get some of these items, the best bet to go is to go into the pawn shop. And the reason why is to get stuff like this, like for 500, you can get for one of the packs. So if you're able to get all the characters, the premium characters that I showed off before, you can get that. You get items that are sometimes off, which is like 2 of these. But then sometimes you get things like for 2 of the vampire costumes, you can get 720. So, again, you're more likely to craft higher tier level items and hope that the RNG in the pawn shop can help you with that spawn. But yeah, at the end of the day, I would recommend you just kind of go through getting the vampire altar before getting anything else. The other items, because they're just decorations at the end of the day. This one at least gives you some scare points. So yeah, anyways, we'll go back to the ending now. Best of luck to all of you to get in this stuff, as know I will. And yeah, hopefully you can leave me down below whether or not this was helpful, if anything to move to the future. Let me know. Anyways, this has been Grim. I'll be seeing you in the next part. Until then, have a good one.